10 weird facts about famous people I bet you didn't know. Albert Einstein never wore socks, finding them a pointless hassle. Genghis Khan was buried in a location so secret that to this day it remains unknown. Vincent van Gogh painted his famous Starry Night while in a mental institution. Sigmund Freud believed cocaine was a miracle drug and used it regularly. Napoleon Bonaparte was afraid of cats and believed they brought bad luck. Marilyn Monroe had 6 toes on one foot, a fact carefully hidden in her photographs. Nikola Tesla claimed to receive signals from Mars, believing they were attempts at communication. Leonardo da Vinci could write with one hand and draw with the other simultaneously. Sir Isaac Newton practiced alchemy and tried to turn base metals into gold. Beethoven insisted on counting out 60 coffee beans for each cup of coffee he brewed. 10 amazing facts from history you've never heard of. Mozart once wrote a 6-piece canon titled Lick My Arse. Space travel was first proposed in the 1600s. The first person entered a cryonic chamber in 1967. Abraham Lincoln was a wrestling champion. The most successful pirate in history is a woman. Buddhist monks used to mummify themselves alive. The town of Salem once held a trial against tomatoes. In 1386, a pig was on trial for murder in France. Alexander the Great was accidentally buried alive. A Japanese soldier never realized World War II was over until 1974. 10 amazing historical facts you never knew. 1 in 200 men are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. Russia ran out of vodka when celebrating the end of World War II. Shakespeare originated the Yo Mama joke. Only 6 people died in the Great Fire of London. The Dutch Silly War lasted 335 years and had no battles or deaths. In ancient Greece, they believed redheads became vampires after death. Alexander the Great named over 70 cities after himself. Polish soldiers made a bear, part of their unit during World War II. Romans used urine as mouthwash. Napoleon was once attacked by a horde of bunnies and lost the battle. Weird history facts you didn't know. First up, Isaac Newton. Ever the experimenter, he didn't just stop at apples. Believe it or not, he once probed a needle into his very own eye socket. All in the name of science, right? Next, the storytelling maestro, Charles Dickens. Apart from weaving mesmerizing tales, he carried a trusty navigational compass everywhere. At bedtime, he made sure he was cozily aligned to the north. He believed it was his secret sauce for boundless creativity. Who can argue? And then there's Pythagoras. This math genius had let's call it a bean dilemma. He and his followers steered clear of beans, convinced they housed restless souls. Kinda gives soul food a whole new meaning, doesn't it? Weird and bizarre history facts you won't believe. War of the Bucket. In 1325, 2 Italian city-states, Modena and Bologna, went to war over a stolen bucket. The war lasted for 12 years, and in the end, Modena was victorious and kept the bucket as a trophy. Pope Gregory IX and cats. In the 13th century, Pope Gregory IX issued a decree that black cats were associated with devil worship and had them exterminated throughout Europe. This led to a boom in the rat population, which some believe contributed to the rapid spread of the bubonic plague. The Great Emu War. In 1932, Australia declared war on emus. The large, flightless birds were destroying crops, so the military was deployed to curb the emu population using machine guns. The emus proved to be formidable opponents, and the military eventually withdrew, marking a victory for the birds. Cleopatra, the charismatic queen of Egypt, had a secret for her allure. She's rumored to have used vibrating scarab beetles as the world's first vibrator. Vincent van Gogh, the brilliant artist, known for his emotional paintings, once thought that eating yellow paint would make him happier. It turned out to be a brush with health issues. Edgar Allan Poe, the master of macabre poetry, shocked the world by marrying his 13-year-old cousin at the age of 27. Talk about a love story that's truly poetic. 10 weird history facts you never heard of. The shortest war in recorded history only lasted 38 minutes. People made clothes out of food sacks during the Great Depression. Adolf Hitler and his Nazi army relied on drugs to fight through World War II. The Roman Emperor Gaius wanted to make his favorite horse a member of public office. King Henry VII had attendants specifically to help him go to the bathroom. Ancient Mayans worshipped turkeys as gods. Americans used to call hamburgers Liberty Steaks. The University of Oxford predates the Aztec Empire. The use of forks was once considered sacrilegious. The French constructed a fake Paris during World War I. 12 creepy facts you've never heard of. Disneyland's famous Pirates of the Caribbean ride used real skeletons. Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street is based on a real story. As many as 50 serial killers are on the loose in the United States. The Devil's Bible exists, and it's a contract between a monk and Satan. People used hollowed human skulls as bowls and cups back in ancient England. Alchemists used brain matter as an ingredient for an elixir of eternal life. Being buried alive accidentally occurred so often that people invented safety coffins. King Charles II drank alcohol mixed with pulverized human skulls. Mike the Headless Chicken was alive for 18 months after being decapitated. 2 Scottish doctors originally invented the chainsaw for childbirth. Ancient Romans believed that drinking blood would let them absorb power. Even after decapitation, human heads stay conscious for a while. Weird facts from history I bet you didn't know. In ancient Egypt, servants were smeared with honey to attract flies away from the pharaoh. Isaac Newton believed in the mystical properties of the number 7 and spent much time studying it. In Renaissance France, a woman could take her husband to court if he was impotent. In 1650, the French government shipped free prostitutes over to the Isle of Tortuga in order to keep homosexuality at bay between pirates. Edgar Allan Poe once challenged a fellow writer to a duel over a negative review. 3 popes throughout history have died while having sex. Pablo Picasso could draw before he could walk, and his first word was reportedly pencil. Vincent van Gogh only sold 1 painting during his lifetime, The Red Vineyard. Julius Caesar was once kidnapped by pirates, only to later return and crucify them. Subscribe for more. Amazing facts from history you didn't know. The first man who went over Niagara Falls in a barrel died after slipping on a banana peel. During World War II, remote weddings were allowed, where the absent groom was replaced by a steel helmet. Until 1914, it was allowed to send children by mail in the United States. In a pub in Oxford, students complain about the wine. The ensuing brawl results in 90 deaths. On the journey to the afterlife, Tutankhamun had 145 pairs of underwear, but only 4 socks. Vikings brought cats on their voyages to prevent a rat problem, and it's now believed that this practice contributed to the global spread of cats. When Albert Einstein was asked what it was like to be the smartest person on Earth, he replied, "I don't know. Why don't you ask Nikola Tesla?" Subscribe for more.
Once upon a time in the Swiss Alps, there stood a bridge so challenging to build that even the local engineers were stumped. So, they did what any clever townsfolk would do. They called in the devil for a deal. The devil, never one to miss a chance, demanded the first soul to cross the bridge in exchange for its completion. But these alpine folks were no amateurs. They chuckled and sent a mischievous goat trotting across that bridge. The devil, in for a surprise, had to settle for a goat's soul instead.
Dark history facts you didn't know. Graveyard gold rush. 19th century streets hid a grim secret. Medical school's dire need spawned ghoulish grave robbers. Digging up the recent dead, they sold the remains to eager scholars. Dance of Death. 1518 Strasbourg. A woman began a haunting dance that spread like fire. Days turned to weeks, and hundreds joined this deadly waltz. Many danced to their doom, but the cause remains a mystery. The Devil's Icy Trail. 1855 Devon in England. A frosty dawn revealed puzzling hoof prints stretching over 100 miles. Across rooftops, walls, and lakes, their sinister origin was unknown. Thus, the legend of the Devil's Footprints was born.